Welcome to the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Wilson Blade 98 1820 V10. The big news to this latest update to the Blade 1820 is the redesigned beam. Wilson introduces a tapered beam for this version, going from 21.5 millimeters at the head to 20.5 millimeters at the yoke. The result is easier power without sacrificing the control that this model is known for. Additional updates include Stable Field Plus technology, designed to enhance stability and reduce frame wobble on off-center hits. Players who like to have more than one racket in their bag will be pleased to hear Wilson has tightened the spec tolerances for weight, balance, and swing weight, making it easier to match multiple frames. This V10 version of the Blade 1820 features a mid-320 swing weight and a flexible RA in the low 60s. I've had the pleasure of testing every version of the Wilson Blade 98 1820 to date, and I really enjoyed what Wilson did with this V10. It's getting some really nice pop on my ground strokes and serves, and also I really like the response of the racket at net. I found I could relax on my volleys, let the racket do more of the work for me, and just focus on my targeting, my placement, my touch when I was looking for hit a sneaky little drop volley like I like to do. And I felt like this version of the blade allowed me to focus on that more than previous versions. One of my favorite shots to hit with every version of the Blade 98 1820 is my backhand slice, and I thought this racket worked exceptionally well on that shot. I was driving my slice really well, getting to skid low off the court and give my opponents a tougher ball to dig out, and they wouldn't be able to be as aggressive with, and that allowed me to push forward and then get to the net, look to get inside the baseline and close off the point with a volley. So yeah, really fun update for me, and really enjoyed this update to the Wilson Blade.
I've been a blade user ever since I've played the sport. So when I found out I was going to be on the review for the 1820 V10s, I was purely ecstatic. Right off the bat, I could tell there was a little bit more power into the frame. I think that could be due to the way the racket is constructed this time around. It's not a constant beam anymore, which is an end of an era, but still an amazing update. Really solid feel, really crisp, especially at the net. I really like the feel. I could go for the angles, but when I wanted to punch the ball into deep corners, I was able to do that really well. The one thing I didn't have, which is somewhat obvious, is the spin on kick serves. It's an 1820, so I would imagine the 1619 will give me a bit more spin. But the one thing I did truly struggle with was just getting the racket over my head. I think because of the balance, it's 4 points headlight. I think a little bit more headlight would help just to get the racket head speed going, but that could just be solved with a little bit of a leather grip or some weight in the butt cap. So otherwise, I really did like the frame. A really cool thing for me was that I was able to tee off with my forehand from anywhere on the court because I could trust the racket. It was very predictable, very solid. So just teeing off with my forehand was just really nice. Overall, just a really good update. Like I said, end of an era. It's not a constant beam anymore, but I think it's a brilliant update to an already brilliant frame.
This playtest of the new Wilson Blade 98 1820 version 10 was a great one for me. I kind of feel like racket design has gotten to the point where there are more than a few rackets that I really like and play well with, but every once in a while one comes through and stands out even among great performing rackets. Now, before I knew anything about the changes made to this racket, it was the new glossy, I call it the podium green color, that really caught my attention. And that change I mentioned, although slight, was significant in terms of Wilson's decision to go from a 21 millimeter flat beam, go into a thicker cross section in the hoop and slightly thinner in the throat. I felt this slight redistribution of graphite boosted power while not detracting from what this racket's heritage is, which is precision and comfort. Now, I really like playing with this racket from the baseline with a thinner polyester string, as I felt I was getting the trifecta of a safe launch angle, easy access to topspin, along with a tight rotation on my slice shots. And at net, there was plenty of stability with just enough maneuverability for me to get the racket into position on time and occasionally add some topspin to my volleys. All in all, for players who really love the blade design to begin with and are used to business as usual, y'all are in for a real treat. The changes made to the V10 Blade 98 1820.
I was really impressed with this version 10 of the Blade 1820, kind of like what Mark was talking about, just looking at the cosmetic. The glossy paint looks really professional, and also on court, I think it gives it a really good feel. The feel of this racket is flexible, comfortable, but you get that little bit of crisp responsiveness, especially when you have it strung with a nice Luxilon Alu power in it like this one. But I've tested many, many blades over the years, and I'd say at one point in my life, the Blade 1820 was my favorite racket on the market. Nowadays, I might look for a little bit more power in my frames. I use an 1820 98 racket, but it's a ½ inch longer to give me that power. This one though, just a really good feel, very good precision. I loved it from every area of the court. And for me, actually, one of the things that really stood out was how maneuverable this blade is, with the swing weight being under 330. I remember some of the older ones kind of had like that mid 330 swing weight, felt really top heavy. This racket just felt really nice and fast. So really liked it from all areas of the court, especially up at the net and on those touch and feel shots. But for me, I would just be looking for a little more power. So maybe add a little bit more plow through weight, maybe drop the string tension. But I really loved hitting on the court with this racket. For this review, we tried a bunch of different Luxilon strings. Today we have Luxilon Alu Power 125 in it, but we also tried 4G Rough, and Luxilon Savage at about 52 pounds. For more information on this racket or anything tennis related, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.